Before we start, a quick note. This podcast is not a substitute for professional mental health care. If you need support, consider reaching out to a licensed professional. This podcast can include strong language and difficult topics. Pause if you need to. Let's get into it. I'm really glad to welcome Kath Parker today. Kath runs an antique store called The Veiled Mirror, where she curates pieces that lean dark, unusual, and often unexpectedly beautiful objects, dating from the 1600s through the 1940s. A lot of her time is spent finding things most people would pass by and deciding what's worth bringing back into view. Outside of the shop, she's an avid hiker and a committed treasure hunter. Kath, I'm looking forward to exploring how your sense of taste develops, how you decide what stays and what doesn't, and how that connects to the stories we tell ourselves about what we're supposed to like. Welcome to I Feel Like I Should.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. All right, let's start with an icebreaker if you're up for it.
Sure.
I would love to know, what is a song like that you secretly love right now, something that might lift your mood up, even if it's something that you wouldn't admit to anybody?
Oh, that's hard. So I actually have a guilty pleasures playlist on Spotify, and I think almost any song by Foreigner.
Awesome.
I'm actually gonna pull up my playlist now,
I love that.
um, just to remind myself. Oh my god, it's not on there anymore. I wonder if they took themselves off.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh. Oh no, there we go. Waiting for a girl like you, and I wanna know what love is.
Those are bangers. But what is it about like Foreigner and those songs you're like, might not always tell people that it's like my go-to jam when I want to be like lifted up?
Probably because I'm a 40-year-old woman who, I don't know, I'm kind of like a goth girl.
Oh, yeah.
So admitting to people in that crowd that I love Foreigner, I'm sure they love it too, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would cringe, but they would be confused.
Ooh. Because of how they kind of perceive you in that world.
Maybe. Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I'm sure, like you said, there are probably a lot of secret or maybe not so secret Foreigner fans in that environment, but then again, I can see how possibly you're like,
I mean, I think when you think of a Foreigner fan, you think of a woman who's probably nearing 60,
ooh,
who
very
is
specific.
well, who was alive in the '70s and '80s at their peak, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know, I just something about his voice resonates with me.
Foreigner is always great.
Yeah.
And for those secret Foreigner fans out there listening, oh, we totally see you. And if you are a secret Foreigner fan, just admit it. I feel like owning it's like better than kind of hiding it. Moving forward, like I know I like was reading some of the stuff you shared in the pre-interview and talking about shoulds and the expectations. Going back to your time in school, like what were the pressures that you felt around you from your friends and family?
It's hard because like I mentioned, I didn't go to a normal school. I went to a secondary program for nerds. So we were all nerds and we loved learning. Um, I don't remember cliques or anything.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to think when I felt pressured. Honestly, I can't think of a single time.
That's amazing.
Is that boring?
No, I'm actually it's more fascinating to me. So, like,
Okay.
what do you think it is about you that, like, you don't feel those things?
I think I'm very comfortable in my body and in myself that I don't think I even realize these things.
Yeah. So, like, how did you then get comfortable with yourself? Who helped to encourage that or support that or, even internally?
My biggest influence is my mom. She's, very confident person. She always has been, so I think I get a lot of my confidence from her.
Yeah.
And then well, I guess I did have influences growing up. So I went to a babysitter when I was younger, when they had young daughters who had MTV on all the time. They didn't pressure me to watch it, but that really, like, formulated my taste in music.
What were some of the things that kinda stand out for you, like, from MTV at that time?
Definitely Nirvana, alternative music, like The Offspring and Alice in Chains. I saw that, and I'd never heard anything like that before, and I just went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the evolution to, if I dare say, like, goth
Yes,
identity?
but the funny thing is, so everybody in school was listening to boy bands and those sort of things, but I resonated more with the alternative music.
If everyone's listening to the boy bands, did you ever pretend to fit in and be like, "Oh, yeah, they're really good.
No, absolutely not.
This is incredible. I love this."
I was also the kid in school walking around with a mohawk and pink hair and everything.
Yeah. Oh, so you came out, like, ready to go.
Yes.
That's incredible. Like, I'm really envious of that. Mostly because, at least in my experience and the other people that I've interviewed, we've all gone through, like, different ways to find ourselves.
Right.
And I think as kids, it's easy and understandable to kind of be a sponge. Like, the MTV thing was a sponge moment, right? Because it
Yeah.
wasn't being pressured, but it was there.
Right.
So some part of you picked up on that and was like, oh, yeah, I'm into this.
Yes. And I will say, I think if I went to a normal public school, being who I was, I think I would have been bullied,
Hmm.
but I didn't have to go through that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you didn't have to go through that kind of gauntlet, at least.
Right.
You said your mom and it kind of being a influencer or, definitely a supporting factor. What was it about her and how she kind of did those things for you that made you feel safe enough to have pink hair and a mohawk?
Well, I had to get straight A's to dye my hair.
Okay.
I had to be a good kid to be who I was.
Oh,
I had to
okay.
be a high performing kid to do these things.
All right. That feels like a little bit of a should,
Yeah.
kind of an expectation.
Yeah.
And for you to kind of meet that expectation, how did that feel to navigate, to kind of know that you had to hit that mark to get what you wanted?
I'm not smart by any means, but all you have to do is apply yourself and do the homework. And so I made straight A's for years.
There was never any sense of like internal pressure.
No, because in my brain, I just wanted to dye my hair.
Single minded.
It was like I had a job and that was the pay.
Oh, okay. That's like the reward
Yes.
because of where I am and like what I'm studying in school and having a lot of conversations about rewards, like, it feels a little bit like a dopamine chase. In order to get the pink hair, I have to get the grades, so the grades are, like, motivated and pushing me on, and once I get that pink hair, like, I've got that thing.
Yes. That's very accurate.
Interesting. When I was reading, what you shared before and, like, the questions that I sent earlier, like, you do say that you have, like, really strong opinions. How did you know or how did you find out, like, how to express those strong opinions in arguably, like, a situation with teachers and other friends and other parents and maybe even your own parents to some degree, might have pushed back on that? I think there's a lot of, like, social normalizing just by default. How do you think you sort of navigated those situations where you knew you felt really strongly about something, maybe that didn't always get met with like the best support or the best understanding?
Well, I think I came into this personality because my parents did give me a lot of freedom, and I had to navigate and learn a lot of things on my own from a very young age. So I think that helped.
I would argue, like, as a parent myself, like, my kids know what they want and they express that. And, I try to, set safe boundaries around those things that we can't do everything, but obviously you want to be supportive. So kids know. And obviously it sounds like you were in an environment where you were allowed to experiment and allowed to kind of say no.
Yeah.
Like looking back now, like what influence, what impact has that had where you are as an adult today?
Well, I run my own business now, and I think if I didn't have that confidence, then I would still be working for someone else. I would be taking orders from a boss. And when I look back at it, I don't think I can go back to that life.
Yeah. When you were in that life, how did you navigate a boss and that kind of structure?
So I have been told I'm very difficult to work with. So that's where it's come back and gotten me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not good at taking orders and direction. So it's very hard for me to keep quiet and not express my opinions about how to handle situations in a workplace.
I want to hear more about that.
Well, luckily, I've never been fired from a job,
There's that.
but I think people would refer to me as a leader because if I see a situation that needs to be handled, I just handle it, you know?
Have you ever saw a situation that needed handling that you sat back out on and let someone else take over?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was a situation that legally I couldn't handle.
Oh, okay. So that was the bar. Anything that wasn't a legal risk, where they're just like normal interactions or conflicts?
Yes. I've dealt with a lot of stuff in my career because I've mostly worked retail. So I've worked with a lot of different types of people and a lot of different types of customers. And there's a wide variety of personalities, but it's my job and I just did it.
Yeah. And you have a business partner now, correct?
Yes.
So equal footing.
Yes. She's very similar in personality to me,
Oh,
but we somehow work really well together. And we both bring ideas to the table and we kind of say, no, I don't like that idea, or I like this idea. And we just don't take anything personally. And I think that's what when there's a lot of people is people take a lot of things very personally. I kind of just let things roll off.
and how did you learn how to do that?
Many years of getting burnt, I guess, or just realizing that most people don't really mean harm or they don't want to offend you or hurt your feelings. Also, you can't control other people. So it's easier to live life without trying to control everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, that's very almost Buddhist,
Yes. Very Taoist.
very Taoist. Are
Yeah.
those areas that you've incorporated, even if it's not a full practice?
Yeah. I like to read the concepts of or philosophies of Taoism. And I think it has helped me in the last 10 years.
Interesting. Is that when it started about 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Was there a particular moment that brought you to that?
I've had some loss in my life, and I think that that was affecting how I was handling certain situations.
How so?
I think I just had this idea in my head that in the end, everyone was gonna leave me, but it's out of my control. So, it is what it is. I didn't like that I had a fear that I was gonna lose people in my life.
Yeah, normal.
People who are actually into Buddhism and Taoism, they're gonna hate what I'm about to say. I started reading Alan Watts
Yeah,
because he helps put it into a more Western perspective, and it was just easier for me to understand, and I realized that what happens, happens, and it's nothing that you can do to change it, and so you just roll with it.
yeah. That also feels like another should, where a particular practitioner would say, you shouldn't read that.
Yeah, there you go, yeah, you're absolutely correct.
I mean, to be fair, I've listened to a lot of Alan Watts. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not that far behind you. Probably on the same page.
Okay.
If only because you know, I find him to be a bit of a gateway or
Yes.
like a guide between the two worlds.
Yes. That's where I'm at.
You found a modality to then help you navigate, like you said, loss or stress?
I'm always stressed. That's my personality trait.
And why would you say that's, like, your personality trait? That's just, like, how it's always been?
Yeah, I can't stop, I can't slow down. I have to be doing something 100% of the time, but I also just we're on this earth for such a short time,
Mhm,
and I just want to do as much as I possibly can.
mhm. I mean, in one way, I think that's really beautiful because you recognize that it's limited, so why not? I'm curious, like, for people listening also, like, if they came to you and said, "I'm really stressed," or "I'm really afraid of losing things," like family members or, whatever their kind of sense of loss is going through, and they just didn't have any grounding, and they're listening to this episode, like, what would you say to them?
I would say loss is normal. Having learned more about the Victorian mourning period, that's also been very helpful.
Huh.
There was a higher infant mortality rate
Yeah.
and just higher mortality rates in general, and they had completely different practices than we do now, and now I feel like people try to hide death and loss instead of celebrate it. Celebrate might not be the right word, but
Yeah, I
it's
I know what you mean.
yeah, and the Victorians kept, hair of their loved ones. They made it into art. They dressed in black, they did certain things in their home for the mourning period that reminded them that they lost someone. And then wakes. You don't mourn the loss, you celebrate the person. That's what I would tell people.
Yeah, I mean, if I understand you correctly, in that time period, and in a lot of cultures still probably definitely, grief is a communal process.
Yes.
And perhaps here in our structure that we live in, it's an individual process because you're expected to go to work and continue on with your job.
Yeah. And I think in our society, everything is very individualistic. Child raising is the same thing. Everybody expects the 2 parents to do it alone, but in other societies, they have communities, and I think it is the same, like you said, with the mourning process.
Yeah. No, definitely. I agree 100%. Like when I went through the death of my father, late 20s, incredibly alone experience. Even interestingly enough, with people around me who were also grieving, that never really felt communal.
Yeah, people, when they cry, they hide. You don't have to hide.
And also, too, when they're angry, they hide.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you've ever seen someone really angry in public, not at a person per se, but just really angry at a situation, emote, and everyone around them kind of just shudders and, you know, doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of scary in this day and age when
Yes.
someone's really angry in public.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. But, I mean, I've seen people be angry in public. I've seen people crying in public. The hard side of the emotion, the very physical, somatic side of the emotion, right? Not just like the weeping, but the real hard crying or the real hard yelling. And I too find part of me kind of like, inching back a little bit instead of leaning forward and making sure they're okay.
I guess the argument is that what technology is doing to humanity.
Separating.
Yeah, it's almost like we're desensitized to everything.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
I mean, having worked in journalism, visual journalism for almost 20 years, it's very easy to become desensitized when you could look at anything at any time in the world at any second. And, going back to the Victorian period, it took a long time to get news.
Yes, it did. This might be long-winded,
Nope,
but
go for it. I love it.
I was just watching a documentary about movies made about the Titanic,
Oh, interesting.
and there was a movie made a year after it sank with an actress who was on the Titanic.
Okay.
So she made this movie, it was released, and nobody wanted to watch it. They thought it was horrible that they made this movie so soon after it sank and all of these people lost their lives.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting because now there's just people dying on our screens in front of us real time constantly.
Constantly. Yeah. And now there's 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 versions of the same story
Mhm.
in a 3-hour documentary or a 10-part miniseries or, inspired by.
Yeah.
So the echoing is echoing on top of itself.
Yes. It's constantly coming at you.
It's constantly coming at you, which my friends and I always talk about. Everyone is always kind of chasing dopamine. And for me, when I watch TV, definitely since having kids, and especially in the last few years and being in school and, watching TV now, it's all gas and no brakes.
Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah, like every scene, something is at stake. Every scene, people aren't communicating. There's not really a moment we get for release.
And I recently started a YouTube channel and I am editing my videos. So here's another way that I'm being influenced by society. I'm purposely editing my videos to be more interesting.
Yeah,
Quicker cut, more shocking facial expressions,
yeah,
and to keep people interested. But in reality, I like the slow, quiet, atmospheric shots.
yeah. I mean, I'm the same way, and we both know that those shots don't sell.
No.
And this is an interesting conversation too, because for years as a freelance visual journalist, the work that I was most passionate about were slower stories, more not necessarily serene images, but the slow burn.
Mhm.
But that never sold. And now you have this YouTube channel where, you want to grow your business, right? That's the
Mhm.
system that we're all working in. And
Yeah.
yet, it sounds like obviously you appreciate not having to produce content based on shock value.
Yeah. I wish I could.
Yeah. And I'm really curious with that, like, how does that sit with you, like having these two paradoxes?
Well, I just view it as work and not art. And I still have fun doing it,
Yeah.
and I'm learning a lot because 'cause I've never done video before,
Yeah.
really. Um, so it's just a means to an end, money, people's eyes on our shop. Yeah. And maybe once we grow our audience, I can start doing what I wanna do more.
Oh, I think that's 100% accurate because there is like chasing the dollar, right?
Mhm.
Opening the store, keeping the store running. And then there's the more, I mean, I don't want to say you, but like the more side of you that wants to say something different.
Mhm.
And I wish there were periods where we were allowed to do that at the start.
We can't all be Frank Zappa.
We cannot all be, oh, that's a good cut. Man, we cannot all be Frank Zappa. I want that on a t shirt. I think that would just really be like, yeah, we all can't be Frank Zappa.
Yeah. I
All
mean, we
right.
can.
No, we 100% can in different situations. There's obviously like other examples when you watch shows like Chef Table, where a chef had a vision of who they are and they wanted to express themselves. And eventually they just started doing that and people, got hooked. And the bigger sort of theme with this show is how does someone find authenticity? And then once they find it, how do they run with it and find that world where you get to do the slow cut?
I think you start with community. You circle back to that. With opening the shop, I found my community and my business partner, um, and we both support each other and our goals and dreams in life, and it's a lot easier to do it with support.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a really good way to kind of close this out that this all exists in community, grieving, dreams, whatever.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, before we go, is there a song that the listeners on the playlist should listen to? What's a song that they should really hear that you want to share with them?
I am gonna go with This Mortal Coil, Song to the Siren.
Awesome. Well, we're going to add that to season one playlist. It'll be the last song on season
Be
one.
prepared to get sad.
Oh man, I'm here for the big emotions. Thank you so much for being a part of today's interview. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That brings us to the end of episode 10 and to the end of season 1 of I Feel Like I Should. Thank you, Kath Parker, for being a part of this episode. And thank you to every guest who came on this season and trusted me with your time, your stories, your guilty pleasure songs, and the music you felt like you should have loved but didn't. Thank you also to everyone who listened, shared an episode, or sent me your own answer to the question. I really appreciate it. We're going to take a short break before season 2. In the meantime, season 1 is available on all the usual platforms and at ifeellikeishould.com. I'll keep posting updates on Instagram at ifeellikeishouldpod and on Facebook at facebook.com/ifeellikeishould. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.